Now, the second point we wanted to discuss as part of this webinar is this idea of monetization. Quite a number of our clients having begun to explore the topic of open banking, first from a regulation standpoint, very quickly realized the potential behind open banking beyond regulation as a new channel, as a new business model, as a new revenue opportunity for the bank. And this is a question that comes quite often in many of our conversations with our banking clients across the region. And Luca, we wanted to capture a perspective from you, what it is you see as the best approaches for a bank to look at open banking more than just a regulatory requirement they have to comply with, but more to do with a whole new business opportunity.
Yeah, so as we said, the regulator is by forcing banks to comply is basically forcing banks to transform digitally speaking, right? So since banks have to do an exercise in complying, they will find themselves in a situation where they will have new technology at their fingertips. So new technology meaning new business models. Now, in this slide, we have 5 different columns. Every column is a new business model that can be leveraged with the open APIs technology that banks are building up. So from the left to the right, the left is the digital transitional model. So that's a traditional model digitized. Then there is the bank as a platform, meaning that the bank is offering not only its own native product and services, but also partnering up with third-party providers. There is beyond banking, meaning that the bank is offering not only banking services, but also other services like travel, like, I don't know, food, anything that you can think of. And then last 2 columns is product as a service and capability as a service. From my perspective, those 2 are the most interesting. They boil down to the concept of banking as a service. And let me give you an example just to explain a little bit both. So product as a service is a situation where the end user is buying a product from the bank. The product is branded with the bank's name, but is not buying the product from the bank front end. Is buying the product from a third-party front end. And this is the case with Uber and BBVA in Mexico, where Uber driver could finance their car by applying for a loan directly through the Uber application. And obviously, Uber is not a bank, but Uber has partnered with BBVA that in the background is powering the loan. That's typical use case of product as a service. Then there is the capability as a service. Capability as a service, as the name says, is basically exposing your capability of doing something. Obviously, banks over the years have built a quite sheer amount of capabilities, right? They know how to open accounts, they know how to make payments, they know how to check that the customer is the person who says he is, and so on. Typically, banks have overcapacity when it comes to these capabilities. So opening one account costs the same than opening 100 accounts and 1,000 accounts. There's only a marginal cost that incurs. So what's the idea behind? The idea is to expose those capabilities via API and offer those capabilities to third-party providers. An example here could be the identity capability. So if a third party wants to onboard a customer without running the full KYC process, they can source the KYC capability from a bank that has already done this for the same customer, maybe. So this is really a change of paradigm. That's really important. The banking as a service is really going to probably make some banks profitable again in the future. In the next slide, Stefan, if you want, there is a quite sophisticated capability map for the banking as a service business model. Now, I don't want to go into the details of each of them. But you can see that basically the capabilities that are concerning, for instance, customers and sales, channels, they are all impacted by this new business model. So you have to rethink how you sell your products. You have to rethink how you market your products, because your products are going to be targeted. Their products are for developers now, right? The products are not for an SME owner or retail customer. So the new customer, most of the time for banking as a service, is a developer. And obviously, there is a chunk of capabilities you have to build up from scratch, which is the API management set of capabilities. So on the left-hand side, you see there is the capabilities around API definition, API lifecycle management, API distribution, API analytics, API monetization, API security. All those capabilities are to be built, and you need a proper API management to do so. That's the message that we wanted to share with this slide.
Cool. So in essence, Luca, the idea here is, besides the needs, or if you want, the obligation for a bank to comply with the regulation that requires an opening of the customer data, these business models here are indeed scenarios that could be leveraged by any bank and really develop a whole new revenue stream. You've given the example of KYC as being a capability that most banks have very well established, but through open APIs now, these KYC type capabilities, and indeed absolutely every other capability that the bank has built over time, can now be presented and monetized to third party, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the idea. And I mean, we're already seeing banks doing so, right? I mean, there is quite an increase of number of API products around KYC identity. I think the latest statistics is 10% quarter-on-quarter growth in these API products. So, API products, so the banks have to think of their API as a new product, basically. They need to be aware that the customer is a developer, and the developer wants to have strong documentation, easy access to data. They want to have smooth integration. They want to have good support if something is not working. They want to, be recognized, and very important, they want to have a simulation environment where they can really test how the APIs work. And in order to achieve that, there is a completely new, probably, business unit to build. So you need to look after API product life cycle. You have to develop, retire the APIs. You have to make sure that the APIs are cutting edge. And you need a team, right, to do that. You need a product owner. You need customer support. You need everything that you already have for the other channels.
In essence, Luca, is it the case here where with a well-structured strategy toward APIs, we are essentially postulating this idea that a bank that is used to serving these traditional financial services to the market is to now think a bit more as a software organization that is engaging a broader developer community?
Yeah, totally. That's that's the paradigm. That's what the bank should aim for. Yeah.
Interesting.